Hey, welcome into the Stinkin Truth Podcast. Mark Schlereth alongside Mike Evans, taking it into the weekend. We appreciate you guys being with us. Please subscribe, download, do whatever it is you do. Send us a question, respond to us, and we will try to get back to you. Mike, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, although I'm a little bit annoyed with you.
You're annoyed with me?
I'm annoyed with you.
Okay, why would you be annoyed with me?
Well, because you have been talking about the salary cap in the NFL, about how don't get stressed out about it, football fans. It's funny money. It's elastic. It's fungible. You can move it here, move it there.
All those things are true.
Don't freak out. What would be your message to Bills fans after their entire defense got gutted as part of salary cap moves?
Yeah. I guess my advice would be that's part of how you manage your cap, and that's part of why that's one of the reasons why it's so important to take advantage of a window. When you're in a world championship window, you can't kick it off deep and let the team get it back without running some time off the clock, right? Without squibbing the ball. Like the decisions you make in game, those are important decisions that you make. And when you have that window, you better take advantage of it. This is part of managing your cap. Now, some of this with Bills is, with whether it's their center and Mitch Morse, or it's Poyer at the safety position, or even White at the cornerback position. Some of this is injury related, some of it's age related, some of it is just you look at the position in general. So several safeties have been cut. Obviously, in Buffalo, that's a big deal. Just this morning in Denver, All-Pro safety Justin Simmons gets cut because they're doing the same thing in Denver from a cap management standpoint, Mike. And so there's this old thing called supply and demand. You've heard of it, right?
I am familiar with it.
It's kind of an accounting thing, like first in, first out. It's like FIFO or FILO, first in, last out. It's all these important things, right? So here's a list of some of the safeties that are on the market right now that have been salary cap casualties: Xavier McKinney, Kyle Duggar, Justin Simmons, Cameron Curl, Eddie Jackson, Kevin Byard, Julian Blackmon, Geno Stone, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, Darnell Savage, Jeremy Chin, Rayshon Jenkins, Jordan Whitehead, Tracy Fuller, Jordan Fuller. Dude, there are going to be a bunch of dudes on the market that are going to be younger than the guy you just cut, that are going to have more upside than the guy you just cut, that are going to be far cheaper than the guy you just cut. So I look at Denver, Colorado, for instance, with Justin Simmons, who's been a big-time player here for 8 seasons, okay? And a great guy in the community and all those things. Do you want to move that money around, manipulate that money, extend him out over another 4 years, or just cut bait and say, let me go get a younger guy that's just as dynamic, maybe more athletic at this stage of his career, and get him for half the cost? Like that, it's pretty simple. When you look at it, it's pretty simple. And yeah, it hurts. It hurts when your favorite players go. I would say this, for all you people, and you know who you are, all of you people that stand on your soapbox and piss and moan when a player says, I'm not going to come to camp because I want more money. Where are you when that, because when that happens, what are you guys all saying? Honor your contract, player. That's bullshit. Honor your contract. You signed the contract. Let this be a lesson to all you turds out there that the NFL contract should be written on toilet paper because they ain't worth shit. And so when you start cutting players, remember what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And when a player outperforms his contract, keep your mouth freaking shut. Can we do that? Is that acceptable to you?
What would be your message to Bills fans about where's the window right now?
Listen, you still have a superstar quarterback. And if there's a lesson to be learned from the Kansas City Chiefs' dynastic run, it is this. Your quarterback will keep you afloat. Your quarterback will cover warts. your quarterback will make up for deficiencies when you have one. And when you have that quarterback, you know what you do? You can rebuild within that football team during the course of multiple seasons. Look how the Chiefs have changed from the most dynamic offensive weaponry, and we just saw this unbelievable juggernaut of an offense morph into more ball control offense with an aging tight end. And really, I think Rashee Rice is going to be a really good player. But come on, he was not cut for prime time yet. And yet he's a world champion. And what do we see them do on the defensive side? We saw them invest draft pick after draft pick, go after young guys. And all of a sudden we saw that defense morph from a liability that we had to cover with our great offense. Now all of a sudden Tyreek Hill and other guys gone. And what do? Ball control, let our quarterback cover some offensive warts. And then at the end of the season before last, when you had 7 different dudes that were rookies playing in your dime package, you had 7 rookies on a football field in the Super Bowl playing. And now all of a sudden you become a defensive juggernaut. That's what you focused on, and you become more of a ball control offense. And Isaiah Pacheco's developed into a nice ball control running back, and he runs hard and he does all those things. And let's face it, I mean, you won a game in Baltimore in the playoffs 17-10. Like, that's how you're winning games now. So it's one of those things. You've got the quarterback. He can cover some warts as you figure out, where you go defensively. So I don't get too stressed out about it. I don't get too concerned about it. I do want to address something really quick, though, by the way. I just thought about this. And, I told people, you can reach out to us and let us know what you think and blah, 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 blah. And, I went on this rant about wide receivers and how they've duped the NFL and how much money they make. And I talked about you, Mike Evans, not you, Mike Evans, but the other Mike Evans, the fraudulent Mike Evans, the fake Mike Evans. You were Mike Evans before he was born.
True.
Right?
But he's got $35 million guaranteed coming.
It's a good point.
He's got that going for him.
You got $35 guaranteed coming to
Big
you
time
tomorrow.
I'll make that last.
So anyhow, I wanted to reach out to and shout out Trevor Mionsky or something like that. Old Barley is his handle on X, and he said, "Hey, listen, in regards to your conversation about and so I'm doing this because I'm admitting that I'm wrong." Because I was like, is anybody really worth that money, right? In regards to your conversation about Mike Evans, anyone that can make Johnny Manziel look good and become a first-round pick deserves all $26 million and more. You know what? Touche. You are correct. I stand corrected, my friend. You're right. He made Johnny Manziel a first-round pick at Texas Tech. Or Texas A&M, Right? A&M.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
A&M.
Yes.
Anyhow. So I wanted to get that out there in the open and just admit that I am dumb, you're smart. I am old, you're young. Well, and there's nothing I can do about it.
And we appreciate the feedback from you. Please keep sending those in. We'd love to answer questions or what have you.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. We'll have to do a question and answer.
I'd love to do that, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll do that.
You've got
let's start that on Monday.
You got the green light. You guys got the green light to send in stuff, and we can respond to it. Russell Wilson cut loose by the Broncos.
Thank you. All
right, well, let's start there. Why is that cause for celebration for you?
Because Russell Wilson is garbage. Russell Wilson,
the player,
as a player, not as a human.
Qualified.
I'm just like Russell cannot throw the ball in an intermediate fashion. He cannot throw with anticipation. He cannot throw into spots. He does not control the middle of the football field, which is imperative when you play in the National Football League. He takes a majority of the sacks are his responsibility. He takes a ton of sacks, which you can't overcome. Russell Wilson, unless you have an elite level defense, an elite level running game, and elite level receivers that can break like break away and play street yard football. You cannot win a championship. You cannot win consistently with Russell Wilson playing quarterback. So, like, I'm sitting here. It's not anti-Russell Wilson. It's I love the Broncos. And you can hold on to him for the next 2 years. I get a lot of that. Hold on. 26 touchdowns versus only 8 interceptions or whatever. He was garbage. Hot garbage. And to sit there and say that Sean Payton, plotted against him is the dumbest thing. If you think that, then you just don't understand football. And to think that Sean Payton didn't change his offense for Russell Wilson. Dude threw more behind the line of scrimmage than any quarterback in the National Football League.
Yeah, I want to get to those numbers here in a
Please
second. But this Russell Wilson conversation has been interesting to watch because nationally and even here locally in Denver, we've been hashing it out. It's a very polarizing topic, and he's a very polarizing figure.
Sure.
There are plenty of folks out there that believe Russell Wilson was done dirty by Sean Payton. There are plenty of folks out there who believe Russ is still an above-average quarterback. And I'm sure for people watching in, let's say, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, New England, I'm just tossing out a few of those teams that could be looking for a veteran quarterback or a bridge quarterback. I'm sure for those fans, you've heard the name Russell Wilson.
Yeah. I saw a report today, just before we got here, that Pittsburgh is planning on meeting with Russell Wilson.
Okay.
But if Russell Wilson is all that, Mike.
So what's your message?
Wait. If Russell Wilson is all that, then when the Broncos released him on Monday and gave him permission to talk to anybody, if he's all that, shouldn't he be signed by now?
Well, especially considering you can get him for a bargain. The Broncos are on the hook for $39 million for Russell Wilson this season.
Yeah.
So if, let's say, a team like the Steelers wanted to sign him for $5 million, like a veteran minimum type thing, he's still getting $34 million from the Broncos.
Sure.
So this would allow a team to get a pretty good bargain with Russ. But, okay, we're talking about the Steelers. Why would Russ work with the Steelers? Why wouldn't he?
Oh, they won 10 games with 3 different quarterbacks, and let's face it, if you have to play 3 different quarterbacks, you don't have one, right? With Mitch Trubisky and Tiny Hands Kenny Pickett.
Pray for him.
Pray for his tiny hands, and Mason Rudolph. So they won 10 games with that. You do have an elite level defense. I actually like that. I actually like that fit. If you can't find anybody else, I like that fit because I know Arthur Smith understands the running game. Arthur Smith, the former Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator, Atlanta Falcons head coach, now Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator, he understands the run game. He understands formations. He understands how to create opportunity in the run game. He understands the zone blocking concept. He understands all those things. So I think you could develop into an elite level kind of run team and then set your play action stuff off of that and your play pass. There's 2 types, in my mind, of play action. There's run action, play action, which is all your boot keep game that looks like just run. You're basically just running the ball. So your RPO stuff would come off the run action stuff. Like you can do that. And the thing with RPO stuff is you're really one route read, right? Which Russell is that he's great at that stuff, right? So you flag that ball in there and you just read that outside linebacker or that safety. If he sucks up, you throw it over his head with a little what they call a drift route or whatever. And if he plays back, you just hand it off and let him run. So that's really all you're reading. And like that would suit that run action game. Then there's the play action game, which to me is 7-man protection, fake flag that run, drop back 11 yards deep, big 7-step drop, 7-step drop. You're 11 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You can see everything. And then you're running a 2-man route. And really, when you start running that stuff, what a lot of teams will do, they'll run a post on one side and they'll run an over on the other side. And the only thing you're reading in that is the safety. The safety plays down on the over, you throw the post. That's like this is, quarterback, it's so hard. How are you going to, they're so smart. If the safety plays down on the over, throw the post. If the safety plays over the top of the post, throw the over out. How am I going to figure it out? Oh, these guys are so smart. Oh, you could never play that position. Hey, it's overrated, guys. It's not that hard. You know what? This is key to playing quarterback. You should throw the ball where the defense isn't. Pretty easy. It's pretty simple.
I think it's a little harder than that, but
not much.
But I'm a little bit confused then about the
okay.
take about Russell Wilson. You said he's garbage, but is it a matter of just fit? Meaning, if you're trying to fit him with a Sean Payton or a Sean McVay, someone like that, then it's not a good fit, and it might look pretty bad. But if you put him in the right fit with a coach who tailors an offense around his skill set, then he can still be pretty effective, and you can win a lot of football games. And he's not garbage. Is he just garbage, or is it just about fit?
Garbage is probably a bad term because people will take that out of context or put the context that I don't like him.
This is just as a player.
He doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Like it is what it is.
We're just talking about the player.
I'm talking about the fact that he can't operate. He can't operate. He doesn't throw with anticipation. He does not process quickly. So could you, if you're an elite level defense and an elite level run game, can you operate and have success? Yes, but you also have to understand that, hey, we're going to eliminate the middle of the football field. We're going to eliminate the dagger routes. We're going to eliminate a lot of the routes that we count on. So we're going to have to be a very limited offense.
You think it's important for a quarterback to be able to own the middle of the field?
Absolutely. I think that's the NFL game in a nutshell.
And that is what? What are we talking about? What's the distance beyond the line of scrimmage? What's the middle of the field?
I'm talking about 8 to 15 yards, tight end to ghost tight end. If you make that, let's call it a rectangle, that's the rectangle. I want you to be able to own that. So I'm talking about through routes. I'm talking about seam routes. I'm talking about the low crosses. I'm talking about all those things that happen in the middle of the football field.
So I'm going to give you guys some numbers, and I'll try to go slow because sometimes numbers can go over your head. But this speaks to the idea of what kind of passer Russell Wilson is this past season. Warren Sharp at Sharp Football Analytics came up with these. Now, these are based out of 509 quarterbacks who attempted at least 300 passes in a season.
Right.
509 quarterbacks since 2005.
Uh-huh.
Big sample size, right? 509. So keep that number in mind, 509. Last year, Russell Wilson threw 27% of his passes behind the line of scrimmage. That is the highest percentage of 509 quarterbacks since 2005. He threw 62% of his passes within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, which ranks him second highest percentage of passes among 509 quarterbacks since 2005.
Wow.
The Broncos had the least amount of intermediate passing of any offense, that 5 to 15-yard range you're talking about, of any offense since 2005. So Russell Wilson as a passer, behind the line of scrimmage, dinking and dunking, the lowest, or in this case, highest percentage of passes completed among 509 quarterbacks since 2005. That's as Warren Sharp finished off his analysis. He said it was nothing but record-breaking rates of underneath passes and the occasional moonball downfield.
And we talked to Warren.
Do with it what you will about those stats.
So we talked to Warren today, and Warren said on top of that, his time to throw the football was the second highest in football, only to Justin Fields, who is making far more plays dynamically with his feet than Russell Wilson was with his feet. 2.99 seconds on average to throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. So then I had people reach out to me and say, well, I mean, because we've got the Rusties that are going to make excuses for Russ Wilson, right? So the Rusties came after me and said, well, that's because guys aren't open early. And I go, no, that's because he doesn't see the middle of the football field. He doesn't anticipate throws coming open. He does not throw guys open. He's virtually just a sight thrower. And that's why he's so good outside the pocket throwing the deep ball. when you play recess football, when your play call is broken play on two, ready break, like that's why he's good at that. But you can't, in this league, I'm sorry, you cannot overcome sacks. You can't take a 3-step drop and decide to blow out of the back of the pocket and get sacked for 7 yards and be in 2nd down and 17. You're not going to overcome that stuff. And, ultimately, those numbers are damning, because all those folks who said, well, Sean Payton isn't adjusting his offense based upon the quarterback he has. Talk to Drew Brees. Drew Brees says, I didn't recognize this offense. There is an adjustment. Of course there was an adjustment. For all you people that saying, well, he just tried to sabotage Russ, you have no idea. Listen to me when I tell you this. You have no idea what you're looking at. If you sit here and tell me that Russ was good, I'm going to tell you, 1, you don't know what you're looking at. 2, you didn't look at the film. Or 3, you're a former quarterback that's trying to protect quarterbacks. That's it. That's the only 3 options that are out there.
There are a lot of fans out there who root for football teams that have a unsolved quarterback issue right now. For those teams, how should they view Russell Wilson as part of that quarterback plan? What should be his role moving forward?
Well, why isn't he signed right now? You've been able to sign him since Monday. Why is he not signed right now?
If he truly still can be a franchise quarterback, and you can sign him right now
for nothing,
and be able to check that very all-important quarterback box before you even get into free agency, never mind the draft, wow, I would think that would be really attractive to a team if you view Russell Wilson that way.
What is the NFL telling you right now?
That he's not a franchise quarterback.
Correct. That he is plan C. If he was a franchise quarterback and NFL teams viewed him as such, and if NFL teams looked at it like Sean Payton merely tried to sabotage this guy and he is great, guess what he would be right now? He would be a Steeler or a Falcon or a Viking or a litany of other teams that are looking for quarterbacks right now. He's not. Why? Because we'd rather have Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, or fill in the blank with another quarterback. He is not your plan A or your plan B. He is your plan C if everything else falls apart.
So what do you predict his role is for whatever team he ends up with? Because if he's not going to be the franchise guy, then he's either a backup, a bridge quarterback who's keeping the seat warm until the young rookie is ready to go, or he's a team just doesn't have a real answer, and they're just going to kind of punt on the quarterback position for a year, and he gets a chance to be the guy.
That's the last one you gave me. That's what I feel like is going to happen.
There'll be a team that will be like, we're going to try to solve our quarterback issue this way or that way, but when it's all said and done, we weren't able to do it. So, hey, Russ, you want to come be our quarterback for a year?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I think that's kind of the direction you're going. By the way, you're just going back to the draft, because you and I have been breaking down the quarterbacks, and I've been looking at the coaches' film and doing all that stuff. And I thought about this. I don't have the draft list in front of me right now, but a lot of people have talked about teams trying to move up to go a little higher in the draft to get one of the quarterbacks. And the guy who's been moving up the draft chart is JJ McCarthy, and he's one of one as far as I'm concerned when it comes to quarterbacks who operate at the line of scrimmage in a pro-style system, meaning they've got multiple tight ends, multiple backs, they're shifting guys, they're motioning guys. He's in control of the line of scrimmage. He's not just looking at a card saying, barn rooster chicken, let's go. Like, these actually operating, changing strength calls and the whole 9 yards. Okay, so he's doing things that NFL quarterbacks have to do in that offense, and so he's the guy that everybody's talking about beyond Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. And so I was just looking at the draft order, and with all the teams that are looking at quarterbacks, if that guy has risen to where I think he's risen to, you're going to have to, the only way that you're going to get that guy, and this is iffy too, you're going to have to trade up to number 4 with the Arizona Cardinals. If the Arizona Cardinals aren't in the market for a quarterback, because I think the Giants are at 5. I don't have it in front of me, but maybe
5 or 6, and then the Chargers are at 5 or 6.
Yeah, I think the Chargers maybe at 5, and
it's Arizona 4, and then I think the Chargers 5, Giants 6.
Giants are taking a quarterback. You can't continue to go down the road with Daniel Jones.
No,
so they're going to take a quarterback.
What about Tommy Cutlass?
The Giants are going to take a quarterback.
By the way, actually, this is something to preview for next week, because actually Mark has done the deep coaches dive into all these quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. So Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, even the guys that are thought of as round 2, round 3 guys. You took a look at Michael Pratt from Tulane, Spencer Rattler from South Carolina. So it might be fun next week to start sharing what you've seen. And you've had some interesting revelations about who you like and maybe who you're not buying the hype.
Right. Well, what I like, and here I'll just
give a little tease.
Yeah, I'll give you a tease. I like guys, and I was told by a guy who really knows, a guy by the name of Bill Lazor, who's been a coordinator in this league, guy that I really respect a lot. I said, it's not about the best quarterback in college. It's about the guy that's the best quarterback who's got the most transferable skill set to the NFL. And so when I look at these quarterbacks, I'm looking for transferable skill sets. That's why I said JJ McCarthy, to me, is shooting up the draft board, because he's the only guy that operates pre-snap. So think about a normal call, like an NFL call. You've never done it. You really haven't been in the huddle,
right?
And you're looking at a card, like I said, barn rooster chicken, right? You're looking at some card on the sideline. Meanwhile, JJ McCarthy is saying, hey, you're huddling up and you're saying, fly to trips right, nasty, H left outside, branch buffalo, can it with 18 handoff strong, on two, and you're rolling through all that stuff. Now, not only do you have to know that, but you have to know where they start, where they finish, because we're flying to that formation, so where they're going to finish. And then you have to know, okay, I've got the branch here, so if nobody rolls, or if I get a linebacker that rolls out with a running back out there, I know I'm in man-to-man coverage. What's my best man-to-man beater? Are they in open the middle of the field open and the middle of the field closed? Like, what am I going to do? Okay, I've got to watch the through route, right? I'm going to look at the through route first. If the through route goes between the two safeties and the linebacker doesn't carry it, man, I'm going to throw the through route. But then I've got the pick curl and the now route on the outside, and then I've got the branch route. Like, you got to look at all this, and you got to know where every guy is, and that starts in the huddle and the pre-snap. He'd probably be the only guy right now that could walk into the huddle and spit that stuff out.
Seems too complicated. I think I'm just going to take a quick look and then dive out of the back of the pocket.
Back out of the pocket? Okay, Russ. Sounds like a good plan to me.
I thought I'd set him up for one more easy shot at him.
I would like to apologize to absolutely no one in this podcast, because what you got, there's a reason we call it the stinking truth. You got it unvarnished, man. And
no chaser.
So you can sit there and make excuses all day long if you want, but I'm just not going to do that.
I don't want you to. Never change.
Okay.
All right.
For everybody involved in the Stink Truth podcast, we appreciate you guys listening. Make sure you continue to tune in, continue to subscribe. We appreciate you guys. Shoot some questions. Next week, we'll start a question and answer. We'll probably do that on X. Sometime Monday morning, I'll shoot out, hey, give me your questions.
I like that.
And we're going to answer the top 3 or 4 questions on X on the podcast. So we'll do that as well. Hey, for everybody involved, we thank you so much, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Hey, for everybody involved in the Stinky Truth, we thank you so much. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more content just like this. If you want to see more of our videos, you can also be sure to check out our playlist. Let us know exactly what you think in the comments below. We appreciate you guys so much for being a part of that.
Don't forget to follow us on social media to stay up to date on our latest updates. Links are in the description. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.